Hello everyone, my name is Busisi Masin and I'm joined by my colleague here, Letitia Fadi. Letitia, please tell everyone why we're here.
Alright, today we as the Competition Commission, we're doing an outreach to independent service providers as well as panel beaters in the automotive aftermarket. This means that we're trying to access independent service providers and panel beaters that provide services for vehicles that are outside warranty. That is what we call the automotive aftermarket. We're trying to create awareness on what services they can provide that are approved by OEMs, original equipment manufacturers. So we're in the Eastern Cape as well as in Gauteng, creating awareness, going to panel beaters and independent service providers, that just to give them highlights of what the automotive guidelines covers, guidelines on their rights and services that they can provide in terms of the automotive guidelines that was issued by the Competition Commission. And what we're doing as part of the outreach, we're also sharing material with them on the do's and don'ts so that they know high level what kind of services they can provide to consumers and their rights as well of consumers, what to advise consumers of in terms of the services that they can receive on their vehicles that are outside warranty.
Okay, so what basically prompted these new guidelines and what are you aiming to achieve here?
The guidelines were prompted by the fact that we found that the market was closed. There were lots of barriers to entry in relation to ISPs and the services that they could provide, like it was mostly limited to a dealership networks. So what we tried to give consumers as much choice as possible, and also there are opportunities where people are staying because people have skills, to provide services. We'd like to see the growth of SMMEs because people have the technical capabilities to provide these services, and it's for vehicles essentially that are outside warranty, It's things that can be provided, with the guidance, obviously of the OEMs in relation to what can be covered by ISPs and panel beaters. So what we as the Commission was trying to do was to broaden the market in relation to the participation by historically owned disadvantaged individuals or small and medium-sized enterprises to enter the market. So that's why we embarked on developing the guidelines, to give them a framework and to understand what they can and cannot do in relation to out of warranty vehicles, how they can access that market, the types of services that they can provide, like just to remove that barrier, because sometimes we found that there were restrictions in terms of like the entry of small and medium-sized enterprises and HDI companies that are owned by HDI.
Can you perhaps maybe list a few of these restrictive measures that you have already identified? Okay,
so like in terms of panels, there are panels that that provide services. That insurers particularly have in terms of who is authorized to provide services. What we found is that in relation to panel beaters that operate in the townships, they found it difficult to enter the market because they didn't have, the requirements were not always transparent or communicated to them in terms of what they would need to meet in order to service a particular clientele, So how the guidelines came into effect was just to make that information out there, share it with make it available to the panel beaters so they know the requirements, what needs to be met in order for them to service clients that are covered by insurance, to make sure that the market is open up to them. So, we engage as a commission with stakeholders, like being panel beaters in the examples that I've provided, to see what were the restrictions from their side, and we found that entry, servicing the clients that were under insurance were a huge barrier to them, and then it was also a burden for consumers as well, the insured consumers, because then they would need to drive from where their places of residence just to find service providers that were approved or are on the panel of insurers, So we're also trying to, from a consumer's perspective, make it easy for them to gain entry, like make it easy for them to have options in terms of who can service them in terms of maintaining their car or repairing their car, So that's where, as the Commission, we came in to make it easy from the consumer side to have options and from a business side to make sure that historically disadvantaged people are able to enter and be part of these panels, and also get access, because it also helps with the experience, Maybe they can get accredited as independent service providers by the OEMs, the original equipment manufacturers, just to open up the market for historically disadvantaged people. Because as the Commission, we want to see an inclusive South African economy that is accommodating to all, the people in the community, in society.